Next on our list of classes or people we were going to create. So, remember that thing I said about uh there's a couple of things that I was considering here. Number one, I have never looked into Hunter. I was even wrong yesterday. I said they only get up to 4th level spellcasting. They actually get up to 6th level spellcasting. They also pull spells off the Ranger and Druid list, whichever one happens to be lower spell level for them. So they get full Ranger spellcasting and some Druid stuff on top of that. That's awesome. So, what does this class get beyond that? That's what I was looking into last night. What I think could be fun? The main thing they get is they apply bonuses to their animal companion based on this animal focus. You can click here to see the full list. The most important was you can just give them enhancement bonuses to strength or con or some various forms of movement. Very, very good stuff. However, that seemed a bit bare. My first thought was, I like hippopotamus. Hippopotamus sounds cool. However, looking at hippopotamus, they are not particularly good. Let's go ahead and go back to what animals are common within the region. Within the region, you can find a baboon, bird, camel, cat, big and small, crocodile, dire bat, dire rat, dog, giant tortoise, giant vulture, giraffe, hippopotamus, horse, hyena, monitor lizard, ostrich, pony, pygmy hippo, rock, and vipers as a snake. Okay, that seems a pygmy hippo. I have not heard of that as an animal companion option before. Roll all the way down to element. The pygmy hippopotamus. I mean, seems very similar to a regular hippopotamus, except, wow, their dexterity is awful and they don't even get natural. Okay, yeah, no, we're definitely not doing that one. There's a huge long list of stuff that is cool. The couple of things I was thinking of is, first off, because you have access to higher level spell casting, there is a spell called what is it called? It's the Pokeball spell. Uh, Statue Companion, Fairy Companion. It is a second level druid spell, which means the second level hunter spell. Ranger is the same way. Touch one willing creature, animal or magical beast that has a helpful or greater attitude towards you, putting them into a small stone figure. Uh, Automatically fails. Intelligent or magical beast must be willing to be subject to the spell. Any item the creature wears, such as a saddle or harness, are transformed along with it. They're miniaturized, similar to stone to flesh, is mindless and inert, and doesn't seem alive when viewed with divination spells. May return to its normal form at any time. Its figure transformed into something small to fit in the palm of your hand. You simply place it on the ground, touching it and uttering a command word. So, as a standard action, is as this reads, you can turn them back into a real boy. Effectively, again, Pokemon. If the figuring is broken, the creature has similar damage or deformities done to it. So, if you have problems fitting someone in some place, you just cast Carry Companion. If people don't like them in town, cast Carry Companion. It's just a very, very solid spell. Next up, Narrow Frame. Requires one break and escape artist and being an animal or magical beast. Do not take penalties to your attack roll to your AC when squeezing through a narrow space, at least half as wide as your normal space. Each move into or through a narrow space still counts as over 2 spaces. Normally you take a -4 to hit and -4 to AC. So, as I said before, we are likely to go into narrow spaces and difficult tight squeeze corridors. So if you start with a large creature or eventually evolve into a large creature, this is a very, very common feat to take. Requires one rank in escape artist. You can take it at first level, or at first, oh yeah, first player level. Makes things nice and easy. Now for squeezing. When I say squeezing for a large creature, that means half the squares they do not need to occupy. Normally they are a 2 by 2 by 2 height. So instead of that, they can be a 2 by 1 by 2 height. They still need 10 feet high and long. It just can be 10 feet wide. I think is how squeezing works. Off the top of my head, I don't think. I think you have to be. It's only one dimension. Can you be narrowed? So for the most part, if a medium creature can fit, and there is at least a 10-foot high ceiling, a large creature is capable of adventuring through territory. So the next thing on the list, now that I know I'm not going to be too imposed by large creatures, what kind of creature do I want? Well, off the list that I read through, hippos sounded cool, but the hippos are very, very bad. You can get other similar effects. So, big cat is probably one of the best animal companions. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. None of the rest of these kind of stood out. Rock being a flying companion that you can ride should you choose to. We're gonna go ahead and grab this guy because it is another one I looked into. What was one I just talked about? Oh, big cat. Big cat. Something similar to a lion or a tiger. So, the reason they are so good is because they have bite and 2 claws. Okay starting stats. Most importantly, they get rake. 1d4. So, similar to a normal cat. Eventually, they don't have particularly great defenses, but what they do get is at 7th level, they get grab, they get pounce, and they have rank 1d6. So what does this all mean? Well, if we go to monster entry and we go to the linked creature, checking on lions, a rake, if you get 2 claws, or a rake 2 claws plus 7, 1d4 plus 5. What that means is when you are either have a creature, let's just, I'm not speaking out my bum. Let's look this up. Let's go to the old AON. So, creature with this ability gains an extra natural attack under certain conditions, typically when it grapples its foe. In addition to these other options to all grapplers, a monster with a rake gains 2 free claw attacks that it can use only against a grappled foe. These bonus damage caused by these attacks are included in the creature's description. A creature with rake must begin its turn grappling to use its rake. It can't use its grapple on the same turn. However, just going to the universal monster rules, if we go down to here, let's make sure that these are both, this both has the same wording. Yes, indeed it does. So, when grappling, you get 2 claw attacks that do that much damage. However, if we then look at the pounce feature, fortunately is not linked. We go to pounce. When a creature makes a special attack, it makes a full attack when a creature with this special action charges, it may make a full attack, including all rake attacks the creature has the rake ability. So, on a charge, it gets its bite, plus grab, plus 2 claws, plus 2 rake. So 5 attacks on a charge. And most importantly, in the world of Pathfinders, there is something called a full attack. Once you have more than one attack as a full round action, which consumes both your standard and your move action, it doesn't consume your standard and move, but is used in place of your standard and your move action, you may make all of your attacks. So your first attack, second attack, if you have iteratives, if you have like rapid shot or something to shoot multiple bow shots, that is the only way you're allowed to make more than one attack per turn, except under special circumstances. I'm going to talk about the generic circumstances here. Notice there's always going to be an asterisk by like everything in Pathfinder. So by default, though I have 2 bites, or bite 2 claws and this rake feature by default, if I move, I only get one of those attacks, whichever one I have is to be my highest. If I charge, I still only get one of those attacks. I take a bonus hit and take a penalty AC, but I only get the one attack. That's one of the reasons why melee weapons can be weaker at the higher levels. Because combats don't last particularly long. An average combat might take maybe 2 or 3 rounds at most. Boss fights, of course, can take much, much longer because they're much more difficult fights. But like an average encounter, it's going to go one way or another, usually the party's way, because that's how things are balanced, in a few seconds. Each round lasting 6 seconds, so within the, what, 3 rounds, let's say, the fight is over. That being said, if you are a melee character, your first round is not making a full attack, you've lost effectively maybe a third of your damage total during the duration of that fight. That's why pounce effects are so good. One of the reasons why big cats are so well loved. Also, once they get up to large size, you can ride them. It's pretty cool. And with good move speed as well, they are quite decent. So, overall, Big Cat is one of the best options. There's other things that get pounced, a few dinosaur types that get them. Some similar options, but you cannot go wrong with a Big Cat. This is probably, I don't know about S plus tier, but it is an S tier animal companion. The rest of the recommendations from that list do make flavorful sense, but maybe this character doesn't come from Osiria. If we want to go ahead and do it quickly, Pathfinder map of Golarion. I've searched this many a time. We go to this first link here, an interactive map of Golarion. We can see the Inner Sea region. This is what is referred to as kind of the Inner Sea. This is the main area that is going to be dealt with within the realm of most Pathfinder settings. There is a little bit of exception. There is Tianjia over here. It is a completely different continent. This is the Asian-inspired area. But as for the Inner Sea, here is where we are. So Osirian is the capital here. It is not connected to kind of the main territory where you end up spending a lot of your adventure. Its own kind of subcontinent. I believe Avestan is, or we're looking for. Apparently, this is no longer. Regardless, this is the first wiki link. All we care about is that we do it. So, some options as to what is nearby. The Mwangi Expanse. That's a good option here. The Mwangi Expanse is kind of this Amazon rainforest, South America / Africa inspired continent, giant jungles, vast exploration to be had, has all sorts of megafauna and dinosaurs. So maybe our guy came over from the Mwangi Expanse to make their fortune. That gives us dinosaur options down here. We have Thuvia over here. Just a quick click on this. Usually it pops up with a little bit of information. Thuvia I'm not overly familiar with off the top of my head, but that's where the apparently Sun Orchid I believe, are made. Katapesh is another nation around here. Absalon is home of the Pathfinder site. It's a giant island that has, people from all walks of life. That's just a short boat ride across here. One thing we can do is if we go ahead and zoom in, can we see our starting location, Wati, on this map? No, we cannot. I was hoping we would be able to see it nice and easy, but nothing wants to be nice and easy for us. So, Mwangi Expanse, that's something cool we could do. So, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are awesome. We can close out of some of this stuff, as long as we know what we're doing. That unlocks a whole other list of things. Just as a quick aside, I've looked through dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. So, all sorts of different options. You got your T-Rex, you big, you chomp things down, you grab them in your mouth, you tear them apart. You got your Ankylosaur, is another S-tier companion, because they have a big popping tail. They only get the one attack, however, once they evolve at 7th level, they get access to the stun feature. Whenever they make an attack, fort save, or you lose your next turn. Again, very impactful, however, a lot of undead are immune to that effect. Otherwise, there is just a massive list. So, the options I am personally deciding between right now are Mokele Mbimbe. It's a dinosaur. Triangular reptilian head. If we go ahead and do a quick Google search of this, it is a creature I had not realized was an animal companion option. It looks okay, this is not great. If we go to Pathfinder, this is the kind of creature that it's talking about. Spines down the back, four-legged, long neck, semi-aquatic maybe? Let's look. Does it have a swim speed? It does have a swim speed. Probably not going to come up. But usually during the duration of the game, there'll be at least one underwater encounter. Just to make sure everybody is prepared for that. At some point during the duration of a campaign, you'll be underwater. It's inevitable. Some campaigns spend a lot of their time underwater. This is not going to be one of them. We're in a desert. But I do not want to be surprised. So, they have good starting stats, 16 strength, 17 dex. Con is not great, but other good stuff. They come with 2 attacks, a bite and a tail slap that has reach. Decent movement speed, starts at medium size, decent natural armor. 9th level advancement is something that is incredibly uncommon. But that means we evolve about halfway through the game, and we don't have to worry about becoming large size for a little bit longer. At which point we gain bite, tail slap that goes even further. These specific features, trample and whiptail. The reason I thought this creature was interesting is because I'd never heard of it before. Beyond that, whiptail I'd never heard of, and trample is a lot of fun. So, if we go to the monster link, we can see what whiptail does. When not submerged, you can crack his tail like a whip as a standard action, create a sonic boom, and a 5-foot burst up to 20 feet away. Any creature in the burst area effect must succeed on a fort save or be stunned for 1 round. These creatures are immune to this sonic effect. DC is con based, so the higher the con of the creature, the higher the fort save is going to be. So in reality, the save is not going to be particularly high, but if we run into a large swarm of small things, this might be particularly powerful. Or just kind of the average people within the population, it's non-lethal. So if you got some mob of commoners coming at you, you just whip the tail and go quiet. As an intimidate check, that could be cool. I like this creature a lot. The next option I had is plant companions. We do have the option to become have plant companions. One of the ones that I specifically looked at was the Slithering Sundew. These have pretty poor defenses, I will note. But as a first level creature, and then eventually it gets becoming large, they have 2 slam attacks that come with a d4 points of damage, plus acid, plus grab, that does constrict. Or plus grab and constrict, which does acid damage. Acid being one of the least commonly resisted type in the game. As they evolve, they just get more damage on their main attacks, and they get they're just bigger and they do more damage. The main reason I would consider doing one of these is, first off, again, I've never had a plant companion before. It's something new to me. But if we go to Pathfinder plant traits, let's go to here because this has a little bit more information listed out. They have low light vision. They're immune to all mind-affecting effects, so they can't be mind-controlled. They're immune to paralysis, which is good against some undead. Poison, good against undead. Polymorph, sleep, and stunning effects. Protection with only their natural armor and weapons. Do not need to eat, do eat and breathe, but do not sleep. A lot of cool stuff there. There is a lot of cool stuff there. Most importantly, they're immune to a number of effects that undead and other crypts may apply to us. However, the reason that I am somewhat loath to do that, as while they're immune to poisons and paralysis, they're not immune to disease. And I don't know if I want to be grabbing things that couldn't cause me issues or disease issues. So that's something to keep in mind. Something else that I will also note is when reading through after reading through the adventure document, sometimes you can go, for example, we're doing the Mummy's Mask, Pathfinder Mummy's Mask character building tips. Reddit usually has 1 or 2 Reddit threads that have people going over, usually, almost always non-spoiler, advice that they have. But the advice that they had is, I'll keep it less spoiler, but there can be difficult encounters unless you are well prepared early on. You're going to be encountering some things with higher DR, so make sure you are capable of a party that is capable of dealing with that early on. So someone who's capable of the big smashy. This is a character I'm building as a big smashy guy. So, noticing that he has 2 attacks that do a little bit less damage, basically nothing. I mean, Constrict is nice. The Constrict does acid damage. That could be quite good. However, Grab only works on creatures of, I believe, lower size than you. Pathfinder Grab. Do a quick Control F for size. Grab only works against creatures of the same size category as a creature or smaller. So at low level, only medium creatures is this going to work on. And then you can eventually make it higher level. It also can't be tripped. That's nice. Seldom is going to come up. So I think in this specific circumstance with this specific party, I am going to go with this option on the left here for one very specific reason. We have access to a alchemist who is likely going to be taking infusion. Included in this infusion are a number of form-shifting extracts. Form-shifting extracts are important because plants, as we just learned, are immune to the polymorph effect. All form-shifting spells are... I believe all form-shifting spells are polymorph-based effects. Plants can take advantage of that, which is somewhat limiting. Also, these guys only have an intelligence score of 1 as compared to the intelligence score of 2 on these guys. So once you increase the intelligence score of 1 higher, they will start to be considered the lower bounds of an intelligent creature. They can start taking actions on their own. They don't necessarily need to worry about tricks. So this is what we're going to be going with, which means we also need to open up another character sheet. This is going to be an animal companion, so we're just going to call it AC. Once again, in Player's Journal, we'll put it in All Player's Journal, and we'll go ahead and put it only in Controlled and Edited by a polkidude. If everybody ends up having a lot of ads, I might give everybody their own specific subfolder. Some players like to create character sheets for creatures they're going to regularly summon, if there's a conjure, or creatures they're regularly going to use in some way. If they do that a lot, you can create a subfolder within here called like Summon Creatures, or create a subfolder for each individual person, regardless. For now, I'm not too worried about it. We just give him the old animal companion. And we're also going to move it next to the character himself. Or again, or herself. Haven't decided yet. So this character uses spells, uses Unchained, click that there. So, we've decided upon our animal companion. We've decided upon our class. I will note, when I was trying to look through the guides are a bit sparse for this guy. Another reason that I am somewhat loath to take the animal companion for plant is because remember all those good features that were available for like the bonuses to strength, bonuses to movement, and other things. Plant masters, which is the way you are supposed to get plant companions. Natively, you're supposed to be archetype specific for getting plant companions. You might be able to ask your GM, depending on if you don't have an archetype allowed for your class to get a plant companion. Hunters do. You're expected to take this archetype if you want a plant companion. These guys here, they just kind of suck. Yes, +2 to CMD is nice. +2 to checks maneuver to grapple is decent because you're a grappler with that specific plant. The rest of these are terrible. Almost in every circumstance is the other list going to be better. So as a result, we're not going to worry about it. The other option I had is Primal Animal Companion. Advantage/downside. Downside is this replaces Animal Focus. So those bonuses that I said you got before, which can apply to your animal companion and to yourself for minutes per day, you cannot get. In exchange, you get the ability to evolve, get Eidolon evolutions for your animal companion. So this can be very, very good if you are focusing a lot more heavily into your animal companion, like we are to some degree. The problem with that is, again, you lose out on the main stuff. It really is picky what you're going to select. Can and activate your primal features temporarily, only for minutes per day. Usually that's going to be enough. However, I think under this circumstance, we're just going to keep things simple. Yes, this can be very good for min-maxing. Primal Animal Companion is PFS legal, though of course you do have to use the Unchained Eidolon for your features. But you can give stuff features like Reach. Eventually, once you get up to 8th level, you can give Surge for stuff like Pounce. I think we're just going to keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, and the... Oh, no, I didn't close out of the thing I didn't care about. So, let's go ahead and start mapping things out. So, we haven't decided race and alignment, but we do have decided class. We're just going to be a hunter, and a base form hunter at that. So, we are level 1. These are a hit die? D8 hit die, once again. You're going to find that most classes are going to be a D8 hit die. For class, Bab is 0, which I'm actually quite surprised with. I feel like these guys should have a better Bab. Regardless, Fort, Reflex, and Will, they get 6 skill points per level, which is very good. Notably also, they're likely to get survival. Well, speaking of skills, they're likely to get a lot of the survival skills, considering the classes they come from. So, they get Climb, Craft, Handle Animal, Heal, Intimidate, Dungeoneering. Heal, Intimidate, Dungeoneering. Geography, Nature, Perception. Geography, Nature, Perception. Profession, Ride, Spellcraft. Stealth, Survival, Swim. Now then, we get a lot of special features. This is going to be our main guy here. This is the Hunter chassis. Going into class features, we can go ahead and do class feature. Let's just go ahead and include a couple of these here. Give it a pause anytime you select one of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 technically. I'm going to write down. Now then, that's dealt with. Back to our hunter. Bidra. We'll call you Bidra now, for now. So Bidra, for the randomly generated name, you have 4 class features that I'm going to mark down. First, an animal companion. Next, you have animal focus. You have nature training. What does nature training do? Let's go ahead and make sure we read that. And it's both hunter and druid for the purpose of qualifying for feats, traits, and all other options that modify or improve an animal companion. Okay. That makes things nice and easy. And finally, you get wild empathy. I will note, I have almost never seen anybody ever use wild empathy and be successful at it. Specifically because it's charisma based. You add your hunter level plus your charisma to determine the results of your wild empathy check. Usually, you're just as good at using your handle animal if you need to. It's is what it comes down to. So, I'm going to be using a melee companion. This guy is going to be my quote-unquote fighter, so he's also probably going to be in melee. Outflank is a feat we're going to get automatically at 2nd level. Or precise shot out. You have 2 options. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at outflank. Let's go ahead and go Archives of Nethys. Whenever you and an ally who also have this feat are flanking the same creature, your flanking bonus on attack rolls increases to +4. In addition, whenever you score a critical hit against a flanked creature, it provokes an attack of opportunity from your ally. Okay, some good opportunities here. So, just off the top of my head, what do I think would be good? First off, we need some way to flank with our teammates. That makes sense. And then next off, we need some way to regularly crit. Ways to get a lot of crits are either to have a lot of attacks, or to have an improved crit range weapon. Again, while good, not necessarily the end of the world if you can't take full advantage of this. Another feature we're going to get eventually is Hunter Tactics. I automatically grant all my teamwork feats I have to my animal companion. My animal companion does not need to meet the prerequisites. I also get free teamwork feats at 3rd level and every 3 levels thereafter. Again, awesome, awesome stuff. So what I'm thinking about doing right now for this character is maybe some sort of mounted character. Not necessarily a charging character or a lance-wielding character. He probably could take advantage of that. But just someone who's going to be riding on the back of his companion. What is it? Pack flanking? I think there's something that I... Pack flanking. When you and your companion have... companion creature have this feat, your companion creature is adjacent to you or sharing your square. You both threaten the same opponent. You are both considered to be flanking that opponent regardless of your actual positioning. Isn't that everything we were just looking for? This means that, assuming I am riding my animal companion or standing next to it, I am always considered flanking my opponent, which means I'm always getting this +4 bonus. Awesome. So what does that mean? We have to take combat expertise, and we have to be have at least a 13 intelligence. Okay, combat expertise, do you have any further requirements? Let's check that. 13 intelligence. So, 13 intelligence is required for this character. Sad. Sad, sad day. Because we're looking for strength, we're probably going to want a little bit of con. Maybe dex would have been nice. We want wisdom to be able to cast our spells. So I guess we're not going to be very good at our spell casting. Okay, all things to keep in mind. Next on the list. Pack flanking and outflank. That's going to be a common thing we're going to be doing. So I guess that's about the full list of things that I have at in my head right now. So let's go ahead and first off, before we go any further, let's go ahead and make our spellcasting class. It's going to be our first class. We're going to be wisdom based. We are a spells known, so we are a spontaneous caster. We'll have 4 spells of first level and 4 0th level spells and 2 first level spells. As for spells per day, we get 1 first level spell, and then of course cantrips, or horizons as they're called for divine. Everybody calls them cantrips, I think, no matter what class they are. For cantrips, you get 4 of them known, and you can cast them as often as you want every day. A valuable change as compared to other options. We don't have a deity at this point in time, so we don't need to worry about aligned spells. As for the rest of this, I think we just give it the old thumbs up. Have we already done skills? We have done skills. So at this point, we're going to do race and all of that. As for alignment, we're currently going to go ahead and stick true neutral. I just mark it down there so I remember to do it later. I'm thinking neutral good for this character. No particular reason. I just feel in my heart of hearts that would make sense. I have no RP for him. No. Again, no draw either way. So, the 2 races that I'm thinking of that are animal companion based are halfling and human. Halfling gets penalty to strength. Human, we go. Let's go human. We go Archives of Nethys for human. Human is very good. +2 to any one ability score, and get a bonus feat at first level, and get 1 additional skill rank at every level. And you begin speaking common, their ethnic language, and basically any other language in existence. Or you can choose any language you want, except for secret languages, of course, for your options. Now, if we go ahead and do Animal Companion, Eye for Talent. Great intuition for choosing talent. They get a +2 bonus on sense motive. Additionally, when they acquire an animal companion, bonded mount, cohort, or familiar, that creature gets a +2 to 1 ability score of their choice. It has replaced the bonus feature, which is quite harsh. However, +2 for an animal companion's strength score, amazing. Also, I didn't realize that it also worked on cohorts. Huh. Something to keep in mind for me later. Anywhere else does animal companion come up? Add 1 skill for favorite class. Add 1 skill rank to the hunter's animal companion. This will function even if you change out and get a new one. I wish I could have also done the hit point one. That might have been worth it in that case. So, I might do Eye for Talent. I'm not locked in at this point, but I feel like Human is going to be a strong choice. So, let's go ahead and do point buy now. We are human, and we are going to probably provide our racial bonus to strength. I'd like to have at least a 16 strength. We know we need at least a 13 there, and at least a 14 here. I'd like at least a 14 here as well. What does that mean? That means we're already over our limit. It means this has to come down to 7, and I can't round this up because this is going to cost me an extra point. I could lower my constitution, but I'm going to be in melee regularly. That would be very dangerous for me to do. I need my wisdom to cast spells. So at this point, that is what it looks like we're going to be stuck with. Not a huge fan, but basically, normally I would have maybe an 8 intelligence, which would give us a stupid amount more points to work with. That would allow us to increase our strength, increase our dexterity, and do all sorts of stuff. But to be a successful hunter, you have to have this little extra intelligence bonus. However, keep in mind that you're losing a little bit on strength, so you lose a little bit into hit and damage in exchange for a huge bonus to flanking. Probably worth it. There is another flanking feat. Pathfinder, person flanking is the... God, there's a... It's probably a teamwork feat. So teamwork feats is Archives of Nethys here. Yes, there is. Flank. Eclipse Strike. No, no. There's technically also improved outflank. Whenever you and an ally have this feat of threatening the same foe, you're considered flanking even if you are not adjacent. This does require a BAB of 6. So, if we wanted to, we could ignore the pack flanking. It means we don't have to do combat activities, we don't need the 13 intelligence, and we just take improved outflank. That seems like an even better idea. Okay, we'll just do that one instead. I'm going to go ahead and quickly see the other option I was thinking of, outflank pack flanking. Nope, that's not it. Flanking. Okay, nope. So improved outflank is what is likely expected, so now we no longer need the intelligence. Go down to 8. Let's go ahead and bring this up to 12, I like. 17. What if I need for 18? No, that's not going to happen. How without reducing this down to what? 9? Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I do not like that. I do not like that in the slightest. So, 17, we bring this up to 12, just so I get a little bit of bonus AC and initiative. Okay. Buying a lot of 19s. I normally am a bit more min-maxy than this again, but this game... Can I please just highlight 12, 14, 8, 14, 7. Again, this is the kind of character that I'm talking about that's a little bit mad. Or sorry, a little bit mad. Multi-ability. Has to have a wisdom to cast spells. Has to have strength and con because he needs to function in melee. Has to not dump dex because dumping dex is a terrible idea in terms of your defensive capabilities. So a little bit... Oh, hold on. I can technically increase this to a 9. Or increase my dex to a 13, which I like a little bit better. Not going to change anything, but again, dex damage is more common than int damage. So, we'll make those changes. We'll lose out on 1 skill point per level, but we're going to gain it back from being a human. So if we go to our race, we're going to be a humanoid. A human, which is a type. Humanoid. Human. All right, we'll do neutral good for now. Vision details none. We learn common. And Osirian. Oh no, we do not speak Osirian. We are not from the... we decided we were not coming from Land of Osiria. We're actually from the Mwangi expansion. What the language they speak natively is polyglots. Polyglot is a... I believe it's based on African tribal dialects. Has a number of clicking sounds to it, which is, honestly, that would be a fun language to learn, just because of the uniqueness of it. Beyond that, I think we are okay. We can do spells. Let's go ahead and take care of spells before I forget, because I am inevitably going to forget. We only know 2 of them. We do learn 3 first level spells, though. Again, guidance is always going to come up, because you never know when you need a guidance. Even though we already have a character who's capable of casting it, it is such a good spell that I don't care even if I have to double up on it. Guidance, create water is always going to be a good one. Again, don't care if I have to double up on that one. I will do so. And Sparks, stabilize. I'm less care about grasp. No direction. That's pretty decent. You always know which way north is. Less important. Okay. What I am going to go ahead and take is the light spell. Because I do not natively have dark vision, I want to be able to shine light as a torch, 20-foot radius plus 20 feet beyond that of low light. So, good. A generally good spell. I think any person who is capable of casting magic, or capable of having cantrips, and that does not have dark vision, should take light as a cantrip. Because it should be your job to create a light source. Now, you don't necessarily have to put it on yourself, you might put it on your animal companion or whatnot, but you can only have one light active at a time, one light spell active at a time. One light spell, the cantrip, active at a time. You can have light and daylight going, but that's it. Spontaneous. Put you back over to being spontaneous, please. Why it's having you... There we go. Because all of these spells in your spellbook you can cast whenever you want, you just mark it there. So these guys are 0th level, 2 first level spells, and there are a lot, again, a lot of first level spells. Because we're pulling off 2 different spell lists. That is first. And then we mark this as a first level spell. We're not going to be offensive casting because we do not have the statistics necessary to do so. However, there are a couple of other options we do have at our disposal. Both Ant Hall is decent, however, it only lasts an hour per level. Oh, sorry, 2 hours per level, so for now it's not long enough. Animal Call, Hell Hostility, Cure Light Wounds is probably one we might consider putting on our spell list. Maybe not now, but later, unless we find something better. Endure Elements, same sort of thing. Fairy Fire is a fantastic spell. If something is invisible, you point at it, or you point in the area, blast them, they make, there's no save, they're automatically outlined, no longer invisible. It's similar to Glitter Dust, the 2nd level spell that wizards, and it's very common, however, this one doesn't have a blind, and it's only 1st level. But it's a spell you should almost certainly take at some point if you're playing if you have access to a number of castings. Gravity Bow is very good if you have if you're a bow user, it just increases your damage. Keen Senses Keep Watch is a fantastic, fantastic spell. Assuming your characters don't mind losing a little bit of sleep. For 1 creature touched per 2 levels, it makes it so they do not have to sleep during the night, and they suffer no fatigue and gain all the usual benefits of a full night's sleep. Gain hit points, you may prepare spells. Effects that rely on sleep or dreaming are ineffective. Of course, you can still be put to sleep. Fighting and what other nonsense does immediately end the effect, but it allows people to stay on watch, allows you to read a book, and whatnot. And eventually, once you start getting higher up there in level, maybe 1 creature per 2 levels, so on 8th level, that covers 4 creatures. That's like the entire party. It's a very good spell, and I do recommend picking that up at some point. Liberating Command, another very good spell. We've talked about that one before. Lucky Number, Monkey Fish. Again, all good stuff, but none of this is... Actually, I know 2 spells. Shillelagh turns your weapon, a quarterstaff, into a very damaging, like a great club, effectively. Tears to Wine, overpowered. We're not doing it. Yeah, nothing jumps out at me as something I should prepare. One thing I do want to check. We're going to get up to like 4 and 5 spells known, 6 once we get really high up there. So effectively think between the realm of 4 and 5 total spells known for your first level spells. So, how many you want, which ones you want. You can trade them out eventually if I think we... spell list is extremely limited. Automatically adds all summon nature's ally spells to her spell list. Didn't know that one. At 5th level and every 3 levels thereafter, can learn a new spell in place of one you already know. Lose the old spell in exchange for a new spell. It must be the same level of the spell being exchanged. May only swap a single spell at any given time. Must choose whether to swap the spell the time she first gained the new spell of that level. She cannot swap any summon nature's ally spell. So we do actually have one further spell of summon nature's ally 1. Beyond that, we have access to 2 spells. I think we're probably just going to do Cure Light Wounds and End Your Elements. It's going to be common across most of the characters preparing these spells. Early on, healing is a luxury that you really kind of need, so take advantage of it when possible. Now then, we have not determined your skills yet. We have 2 background skills and a bunch of others. So, as for knowledge skills, I don't think... Do we want linguistics is the first question. I feel it is much less important on this character as compared to other characters. Geography might make sense. It is a class skill for me. I want to be good at handling animals. It is important to interacting with your animal companion until they have an increased intelligence score. So maybe... Let's pick the other skills that I want this guy to be good in. Survival, I think, is a good one to be trained in. Because survival is a skill that no one else is going to have, and it was recommended to have someone be good at it for the duration of this game. Swim and the rest of those, I already have bonuses to. I think we're going to be riding our animal companion. We will take ranks and ride. Riding our animal companion for no other purposes than just being flanking, effectively. Perception is common, and everybody should take that if they're good at it. And then it's really just kind of up to this guy. Since motive would make sense if I am going to need it. I did lose 1 skill rank because of my intelligence, but I might be adding it back because I am a human. Great question. What do I have for being a human that I might want to trade out? So we've already traded out our bonus feat. Our places... Okay. What, do we have anything that we want to replace skilled with? It is unlikely. Dim Dweller... Those were the trader on home and gloomy condition. Gives us dark vision, however, animal companion will still not have dark vision, so that's a moot point with that. So the answer is not really, no. So we'll get 1 extra skill rank per level, so plus at class -0 level. I think it might be class 0 to level. They might have changed it to class 1 dash. Okay, it's class 0 dash. So that is correct. So we have 3 skill ranks, plus 2 background. I mean, I've taken the ones that I am amazing, that I think are important. I think we'll go ahead and invest in Sense Motive. Again, it's not a class skill for us, but I don't mind doing it. We're not doing stealth. We're not a particularly stealthy man. I get Spellcraft. I do. I'm not going to invest in. I just wanted to, for the sake of my own knowledge. Knowledge Nature makes sense to invest in. And I guess we'll take... Actually, there's no point in doing Handle Animal instead of Wild Empathy. Because they're both... Oh, no, because this guy gets an additional +3. That's the reason you take Handle Animal instead. Because my Wild Empathy is only going to be at +1, or at -1, this guy's at +2. Okay, that should be on my base skill ranks. Oh no, we do. One of them was background. Okay. Do I want to take Ancient Osiriani just so I can speak it just in case? Why not? Why not? I came to learn. Uh, Actually, we'll start with Osiriani, and we'll move on to the other one once we do. And then eventually, once we get done with that, I think I'll invest the rest in Knowledge Geography. We have one more skill ranked at our disposal. Climb and swim are options if you want to have one skill rank in. Heal might make sense. Yeah, I guess heal for lack of better options. Engineering might have been good. Various knowledge checks might have been good, but I'm happy with what we got. So, traits wise, let's go ahead and take a quick look through traits. I will have to go back and do traits. I realized another thing I forgot on the other character that I have built. You go back and do that. So, back down, scrolling to campaign traits. None of them jump out at me as important. So bonuses on saves against death. I'm not a native of this city. I don't dedicate myself to fighting the undead. That seems bad. So I'm thinking either resurrected or mummy cursed are the two options that jump off the page for me. Mummy cursed gives some part of my ancestry. My family line was cursed by a mummy. I get bonuses on saves against curses and +2 on saves against the mummy's aura of despair. Or I get +2 to saves against death effects, and I stabilize at additional hit points. Mummy Cursed is fun, but way situation. Well, I don't know how many curses there are going to be underground in ancient tombs. Admittedly, Pharaoh's Curse, kind of a notorious thing. Let's make this guy a little bit superstitious. Let's give him the. Oh, sorry. We need to give racial. Let's go ahead and give racial traits first off. He's skilled. And he is also has an eye for talent. Then we have the normal traits. He has the mummy curse. Mummy dash cursed. Again, you can look it up if you're curious as to what those do. That's, in my mind, the best way to do it. So, notes. +2 verse curses. And mummies. Is mummies YS or... Let's do +2 verse curses, because I don't want this guy to be... to sound weird. Okay. We'll take care of armor class and all that stuff later. For now, we've done skills, we've done spells, we've done class features. We do need to do feats. And we also kind of need to determine this guy's weapon. So, we also need to, of course, then build out their animal companion. Animal companions, luckily, are quite quick to build. If we go to Pathfinder Weapons, does good old Eowyn have a weapon category? They do. Question: what are hunters proficient with? All simple and martial weapons, light, medium armor, and shields, except tower shield. Another thing to note, our animal companion is going to have a large reach, 10-foot reach, which means we also likely then want a reach weapon. So, we go down to two-handed weapons. Our martial weapons, specifically two-handed, is what we're looking for, and then those with reach. So, glaives, ×3 crit range, not bad. Glaive Guisarme is a just straight up upgrade to the glaive. It has the brace feature and AC text. 19 to 20 crit range. Take advantage of outflank is a Bardiche. Do have to be a little bit careful because we do not have this. If we take one of these and one of these, we'll have options for both. Bardiche has brace and reach. +2 bonus on CMD against Sunder. Okay. Arm is a 2d4. Anything else? We've got a hooked lance. Get a horse chopper, a normal lance in case we want to do charging attacks. What is a hook lance? Okay, that doesn't help us. Brace reach for a Lucerne hammer. This is this is technically the best. Does a D12 damage. I'm again not a huge fan of D12s, but is a cool weapon that is fun to take advantage of given time. Reach weapon for a Naginata. Arm for a Ransuer. We have a D8 now. Tri-point double-edged sword. I mean, there's a large variety of options here. None of them jump off the page. Ransuer, if you're looking for consistent damage, is going to average 1d4 averages what? This is going to average 5 damage for that damage dice. D8s will average, or D10s will average 5.5. D8s will average 4.5. The way to get average damage is you take the minimum and maximum, add them together, divide by 2. That's how averages work. Makes it simple. So for 2d6, that average is 7. 1 plus 6 is 7, divided by 2 is 3.5, multiply by 2, and you get 7. So great sword, 7 damage with just base weapon damage is generally what you're looking for to try and build around it. Are there maybe an exotic weapon might strike my fancy? There's a two-handed, nice. Let's just control F for reach. Oh, didn't realize there was one-handed. Interesting. Let's not do fragile. Boarding gaff. Rook. No. No. Double chain comma. I think we are just going to go with... I mean, this is an 1820 times 2. So that would be very good if you're planning to take advantage of outflank as well. As for this, I think we are just going to go with the Bardiche. So, go ahead and set up the attacks. This just... there's a D in there. It will be a melee attack. It is a slashing damage. It is a 19 to 20 times 2 crit range. It does melee versus AC. It does 1d10 points of damage. And most notably, because we are two-handing it, it adds 1.5 times our strength to damage. Go ahead and refresh this. So we'll do a d10 plus 6 points of damage, which is respectable. Not an overwhelming amount for first level, but still a good amount considering we also have an animal companion. Next we have a Beck de Corbin. The reason we're taking this is because this does slashing damage, this does either piercing or bludgeoning. Just in case we have issues with like skeletons or zombies, it allows us to invert our damage type. Very similar to a Lucerne hammer, but the hammer is slightly blunter, and there's a spike, it's stouter and more hooked. +2 bonuses on damaging, but most importantly, again, Lucerne hammer is very good, but it's also piercing or bludgeoning. Never mind. In which case, we will use our Lucerne hammer as our backup weapon, or probably actually as our primary weapon for now. We'll be switching out to Bardiche once we get a little higher up in level. There's a 20 times 2 crit range, I believe. Lock into that, yes. It is. Does 1d12 damage, which averages 6.5, which is a reason why it's also worse than the 2d6. We get strength and a half with this one. And this is B or P. So for low level, use the Bardiche. High level, you switch over to the uh I said that 3 times now. Now, as for feats, I think the feat we're going to be going with is going to be at low level is going to be undersized mount. Requires 1 rank and ride. You can ride creatures of your size category, although encumbrance and other factors might limit you still. The reason I do this is because I mostly just want to occupy the same square as my animal companion. It's not going to be overly necessary until 5th or until 6th level when I get the outflank improved outflank. But for now, uh, it's just nice. So we'll take undersized mount. We can't get access to power attack. Power attack is another feat that I'm likely to take at some point in the future. Power attack just says it requires a base attack bonus of 1, which you do not have. You take penalties on your attack rolls in exchange for bonus on damage rolls, multiplied if you are attacking with a single weapon. So again, just throw up the arms and say, occupy the same square, makes things nice and easy. I think, let's go ahead and quickly go through all of our, we do need a second trait. So taking a look at our options here, we do, with our race, get a +2 bonus to sense motive. So I think we're going to make this a class skill and give it a +1 trait bonus for our second trait. Unless, no, there is no good animal companion traits. So I'll pick out a specific one later, but no, there's usually at least 5 or 6 options for each. +1 sense motive makes it a class skill. There's 5 or 6 options for each skill to get a +1 bonus, make it a class skill. Usually some of them come with other situational bonuses, maybe a +1 to a different skill, maybe it gives you a +2 bonus, but under more niche circumstances. Regardless, there's one for everything. This is usually how you make skills that aren't class skills, as you make a trait. So, then with that, let's go ahead and switch over to our animal companion. Now, animal companions, luckily, are very easy to build. We don't use spells, we don't use unchained skills. Notably, companions do not get access to unchained skills. This is a stupid little guy here. He is a Okele Bembe. He is an animal. He is a true neutral alignment. Technically, animals can be... I don't think they can have alignment beyond true neutral because they are too dumb to have opinions. We go ahead and take a look at all this. We have a swim speed and a normal speed. 30 here and 30 here, in case it ever comes up. However, they do not breathe underwater, in case you are curious about that. So, as for their stats, we go 16, 17, 10 to 15. Not include a plus there. 17, 10 to 15, 11. Truth be told, those are quite decent. Okay, and class is going to be Animal Companion. The rest of this we can get later. Let's go ahead and make sure we do that. So, Animal Companion details. Let's go ahead and click Q. We also remember our human bonus does give us a choice of bonuses for our stat. We'll go ahead and give a +2 to this guy's strength score. Let me phrase that a little better. Being a human and losing a feat gave us access to that ability. So, what do we have in terms of class features? Class features gives us link and share spells. Both of them are quite good. Share spells. Link says... I mean, all of these options are here. Link. Druid can handle a companion as a free action or push it as a move action. If he doesn't have any ranks, even if he doesn't have any ranks to handle animal, you gain a +4 bonus on all wild empathy checks and animal checks made regarding an animal companion. Brilliant. Thumbs up there. Share spells. Any spell that has a target of you, such as personal spells, you may share with an animal companion with a range of touch instead of casting it on yourself. You may cast spells on an animal companion even if those spells do not normally affect the companion's type, such as animal. Spells cast in this way must come from a class that grants an animal companion. Don't have to worry about that. So, next up, 2 hit dice is interesting. Hit dice is a 8 hit dice. They add con as per normal, so they are level 2 with the 8 hit die. So generally, animal companions are stronger than an average character at first level. But if you notice, as they scale, they do not scale 1-to-1. At high level, you're going to be missing out on a few hit dice, because as you should be. You're not the main character, you're just an add-on. So, there's many ways to do companion hit points. Some people say use monster hit points, which is just take the average. So in this case, D8 would be 4.5. So every level the companion gets 4.5. So 4 at first level, 5 at second level, and so on and so forth. The downside of that is your companion is going to be having a ridiculously low amount of hit points. So in my opinion, I give animal companions and most other companions, even NPCs that are a lot of NPCs that are not pre-statted, similar HP to PC. Just because I feel bad if I kill your animal companion because they are bad. So, he is going to have 13 hit points. And, however, they do not get a favored class bonus. So no bonuses on that. 1 Bab, they get good fort and reflex saves, and they get 1 skill point per level. Which makes things nice and easy, and you don't have to worry about it. No natural armor bonus. They do unlock 1 bonus trick. We'll cover tricks in a bit, but for the most part, you don't have to worry about it. And 1 feat at their disposal. So, skills. Animal total skill rank. If animals if animal gains an increased intelligence of 10 or higher, it gains bonus skill ranks as per usual. It's unlikely that an animal companion will have will have an intelligence score higher than 10, but it is technically possible. Beyond that, I think we are good to go. So if we go over to Pathfinder Animal, the animal type, it'll give us to the following are class skills for animals: acrobatics, climb, fly, perception, stealth, swim. Which is not a whole lot. Let's go ahead and show more fields, because I always prefer having the full list here. Acrobatics, climb, fly, perception, stealth, swim. Perception, stealth, swim. Of note, because this man has a swim speed, he does include a +8 racial bonus to swim, and he is allowed to take 10 on it at any point. So, by default, no matter what the circumstances he gets, a 21 as a result of his swim score at this point in time. Actually, it should be 22, which is good enough to swim in most any conditions, barring severe vortex. As a result, as always, with skill ranks with animal companions, it's almost certainly just going to be ranks and perception. Beyond that, he doesn't get a whole lot. He gets 1 feat. I do need to go ahead and include his special qualities. He has both scent and low light. Low light vision. And then we need to talk about tricks. Pathfinder animal tricks. An animal with an intelligence score of 2, which our animal companion is, can learn a maximum of 6 tricks. There defines 12 tricks in the core rulebook. There is attack, come, defend, guard, fetch, heal, and so on and so forth. Combat training, fighting, guarding, heavy labor, hunting, performance, and riding are general purpose traits. Apparently there's new ones as well. In effect, we're going to get access to a total of 6, which is the default for intelligence, plus the 1 bonus for our being a hunter and being an animal companion. So we can close out of this at this point, and we don't have to worry about that. So attack. Attack is a is probably one of the most important tricks. Why is it not... Here we go. Attack. Attacks the apparent enemy. You may point to a particular creature that you wish to attack and it will comply. Normally, an animal will attack humanoids. Attacking an animal that is weird, such as undead, counts as 2 tricks. So we're going to... let's just go ahead and make class features. And we're going to go ahead and put tricks here. And we're going to go attack 2. Come, defend. Most importantly, we're going to do riding, so that this guy knows how to ride, or to carry a mount. Combat training. Trains an animal to bear a rider. An animal trained to bear its rider into combat knows the trick attacks, come, defend, guard, down, and heal. Makes sense. That actually is a pretty awesome list for things that we're going to do. So, attack, come, defend, down, guard. Come, defend, down, guard. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically, we're also missing out on heal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, because we have riding instead of heal. Do we want heal? We do want heal. What about guard? We don't need guard. Down, defend. We'll get rid of come in exchange for heal. Heal seems a little bit better. Okay. This is kind of your generic list of things that are useful. For the most part, I'm not really one to... As a GM, I don't care about your animal companion knowing tricks, not knowing tricks. I assume if you don't use and abuse your animal companion, it's fine. If you plan to bring your animal companion to combat, he's trained in attack. If you plan to use your companion to track things around, trained in track. Plan to ride him, he's trained in that. Defend, come, all those commands make sense. Because technically heal and defend function very, very similarly. However, defend also says if they're attacked, attack whatever's attacking them. No big deal. Don't worry overly much about tricks, and especially once they start increasing the intelligence of their animal companion, which you should do, it becomes even less vital. So just keep in mind, if they're a low intelligent or a mindless animal companion, that's the point at which you need to worry about it. But with an animal intelligence of 2, just assume that they're good. Don't worry too much about it. Okay, but for the purposes of this, I'll just kind of demonstrate how it works in case you have a GM who's a bit more of a stickler. Now, as for feats, for this specific animal companion, I think I'm just going to take power attack. We're going to use it eventually. Our next feat comes at, I guess, next level. But there's really nothing that is jumping off the page. He has plenty of hit points because he comes with that extra hit die. I've been generous. So one thing you just need to do is come up here, add a common buff, say power attack, hit plus, and lo and behold, it's set up. Notably, this is only included for single-handing a power attack. If you're two-handing it, you need to multiply this whole part by 1.5, but it does all the math for you. And since this guy has 2 attacks, he does not get strength and a half on his power attacks. Speaking of strength and a half, he does. Let's go ahead and set up those attack macros and defense macros. He does have access to natural armor of 5, which is quite decent. Now we go to attacks. We set up 2 attacks, one for his tail and one for his, I think, bite. Is it? Yes. Tail slap is going to be the one he's going to be using regularly. This is going to be a bludgeoning attack. That goes melee. It's considered 20 times 2. It does a d8 points of damage. 1d8, come on. Don't fight me on this. Plus strength. Doesn't have an iterative attack, and it's unlikely to get them. And then we go to bite, which is going to be a slightly less common attack, I believe. They both do the same damage, except this attack also has reach. Go melee, damage 1d8, plus strength. Bite is considered bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Sorry, dog need to go out. Okay, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, so it overcomes all DR. We go ahead and refresh or recalc this page now. It should include our strength bonus. There we go. Pretty much similar to hit damage as us, which is quite good. Skills are taken care of. Equipment. I will give you one quick little piece of advice when dealing with animal companions. Animal companions are not natively proficient with any kind of armor. So if we go to, real quick, Pathfinder Armor, if good old Archives of Nethys has it here, we go to Light Armor. So, if you are not proficient with armor, you take an armor check penalty on all checks, or you take a penalty on basically every d20 roll equal to your armor check penalty. However, notice here, there's a lot of light armor that doesn't have an armor check penalty. At which point, why not just give them some armor? So, Lamellar Cuirass, leather armor, rosewood armor, all sorts of stuff here. Leaf armor. Leaf armor is quite expensive. But any of this stuff that has a 0 armor check penalty, you can put on your animal companion without it being trained. Leather is the one I specifically recommend. We just set up leather armor. Armor attributes, it is a +2 armor bonus, no enhancement, max dex of 6, no ACP. I am not proficient in it, but it doesn't matter. So effectively, at this point, my animal companion now pops out with an AC of 20 at first level, which is, as you can imagine, kind of ridiculous. So even though he has a lower con score, it's not as big a deal, even if you're losing out a little bit on these hit points. So a very powerful animal companion at low level. The one further thing I will note, when buying armors for animal companions, first off, this armor is not going to magically increase in size. So don't buy a bunch of magical armor for your companion, and then at whatever, 4th, 7th, 9th level, then they grow in size, and then you're very sad. Also, armor for a creature of differing sizes doubles per size category. It shifts away from medium or small. So, for a creature of large size, you have to double the armor. Also, if it is an armor for a creature that is of unusual build, so basically not a humanoid in shape. For example, if it's got wings, it's got 4 legs, it's got maybe a tail. I think tails aren't as big a deal. A tail hole doesn't cost extra. But for an animal companion, by default, it's going to cost you extra. So, by default, it's 20 gold. It's going to cost you double that. So, 20 gold to buy the leather barding for a medium creature. Double that for 40 gold to buy barding for a large-sized creature. Just keep those things in mind when you are buying your starting gear. Armor gets very expensive very, very fast. It's another reason why I don't necessarily recommend leaf armor, even though it's a little bit better. Because if you double that and then double that again, you're already looking at 2,000 gold pieces for a minuscule difference in armor class. Late game, it could be good. For now, it's not worth it. One other thing I will end Animal Companion builds off with. Animal Companions can be swapped out at any time. It takes about a week or so during downtime. You can swap out your animal companion. Most people don't. Most people bond with their animal companion and bring them along with them for extended periods of time. But if you don't have a problem doing that and you don't feel too attached, or you're like some of the previous characters I played where they don't value their animal companion, then you can swap them out. At which point, it is often best to go with whatever animal companion is best at your level. There's cutoffs at 1st level, 4th level, 7th level, the combo wins, and apparently this guy's got a 9th level advancement. So as you change, you can get new animal companions. However, most GMs will and should limit the animal companions you can get based on the terrain you're at. For example, this character came from the Wongi, which I think we should go ahead and mark down on their character sheet somewhere once we go back to it. They came from the Wongi Expanse. But we're going to be in Osiria as during our campaign. We have the list of animals that are available for animal companions within this region. So if your animal companion dies, you don't want to bring it back, or if you want to swap out the animal companions, you should be limited to this list that is available. unless you spend a bunch of time traveling to exotic locales. Or you go to a market and buy one, because there are often listed prices for most animals. Beyond that, I think that is the finale for the hunter. We need to go ahead and mark down Bidra. You are from the Mwangi Expanse. Also, I'm feeling that this person's going to be female for some reason. Don't know why. Might be because Bidra sounds a bit more feminine. Who's to say? Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to follow links down below if you want to see some of my content, and I will see you all next time.